Widely considered as one of the greatest television shows of the 20th century, The Simpsons has had a huge impact on television, in particular bringing new life to adult cartoons, which also gave us shows like South Park and Bob's Burgers. Although the show has certainly been going downhill for 20 years, in its golden age it brought us piles of classic, memorable, funny, and even sometimes subtle episodes. So, I've gone through all 672 episodes of The Simpsons and put together my top 10 favourite of all time. Number 10. Homer at the Bat. The first episode to beat The Cosby Show in the ratings, Homer at the Bat is a classic episode, with constant hilarious jokes and memorable celebrity cameos. Unlike modern episodes where the celebrity cameos are usually shoved down our throats, these cameos were actually worked into the story, with Mr. Burns hiring real-life softball players to play for his team, including Ken Griffey Jr. and Ozzie Smith. What truly makes the episode great in my opinion is Homer's ambition to play with his quote-unquote magic bat, as well as how he wins the game at the end, which I won't spoil, and also how the softball players end up dropping out, with incidents including Ken Griffey Jr. developing gigantism, and Joe Canseco saving a woman's possessions from a burning building, individually. A classic episode with a great amount of humour. Number 9. Lisa the Vegetarian. Another episode that constantly delivers one hilarious joke after the next, while also being a commentary on vegetarianism and how we shouldn't force our beliefs down people's throats. Lisa becomes a vegetarian after encountering a lamb at a petting zoo and refuses to eat meat at all, ultimately becoming the subject of ridicule from her family and friends. Eventually, Homer throws a barbecue in his back garden, with Lisa disposing of the roast hog he'd prepared. Lisa runs away to the Quickie Mart and after feeling pressured, eats one of the hot dogs, only for a prude to tell her he switched to tofu and no one noticed. The episode also features guest appearances from Paul and Linda McCartney, who were vegetarians in real life, and they tell Lisa that despite her vegetarianism, she shouldn't condemn others for eating meat, leading her and Homer to make amends. A hilarious episode with a heartfelt message. Number 8. Mother Simpson. Definitely the most emotional episode of the entire series. Even though Mona would come back for a few episodes after this, the ending of this episode is easily one of the saddest moments in television. But besides its emotional ending, Mother Simpson is a heartfelt gem. Mona's backstory and her love for Homer are heartbreaking, and the fact that she was forced to leave him behind to escape the police. Glenn Close guest stars as Mona, and her performance is really subtle, providing Mona with that incredibly gentle, sympathetic voice that adds to her incredibly likeable personality. And the last line of the episode,
"Don't worry, Homer. You'll always be a part of me."
manages to be really funny as well as emotional. And of course, Homer staying behind to look at the stars through the credits is simple, but also highly emotional, and all the episode needed to finish. A funny, emotional episode that introduces one of the show's best minor characters. Number 7. Marge vs. the Monorail. Though not widely praised among the cast and crew of the show, Marge vs. the Monorail manages to be a really funny, intelligent episode. I've never truly seen The Simpsons as that realistic in its style of comedy, so having it be this silly doesn't bother me that much, primarily because its silliness doesn't go overboard. The episode features a number of hilarious jokes, including the Flintstones-themed opening, the popcorn rising when a truck falls through a hole, Homer believing Batman will help him, etc. The episode also has that amount of comedic suspense and the monorail not being able to stop, and guest star Leonard Nimoy's overly dramatic response to the events happening, including the solar eclipse. Plus, who can forget the monorail song? A memorable, funny episode.
Mono, don't!
Number 6. Deep Space Homer. The idea of Homer Simpson, of all people, going into space sounds ridiculous, but also like it should take advantage of its space theme, and it does. Bringing us constant hilarious jokes and references to films such as 2001: A Space Odyssey and Planet of the Apes, the episode is home to a number of great lines, such as,
What? 3 whole weeks with only wine?
They even managed to get Buzz Aldrin to guest star, joining Homer on the shuttle. The episode even features a hilarious climax, primarily Kent Brockman believing the ants are aliens invading Earth, and Homer using an inanimate carbon rod to shut the doors to the shuttle, with the public only acknowledging the rod.
It's an inanimate fucking object.
You're an inanimate fucking object!
Another brilliant, memorable episode with some of the show's best jokes.
You fool! Now we may never know if ants can be trained to sort tiny screws in space.
Number 5. 22 short films about Springfield. Although this episode doesn't really tell one or two cohesive stories, it manages to link together its stories even with the ad breaks. To someone who has never watched The Simpsons, it might feel like an assembly of stories that don't fit together, but like Cloud Atlas, the stories manage to fit together, in this case probably in a much easier way to work out. We start and end with Bart and Milhouse wondering if life in Springfield is interesting, respectively before they go to the Quickie Mart and after they squirt condiments on Nelson. In this, we get a few minutes with most of the characters from the show, including Apu, Lisa, Smithers, Dr. Nick, and even Bumblebee Man. The episode even manages to throw in some hilarious Pulp Fiction references, and it even became an internet meme a few years back, when the most iconic segment of the episode, Steamed Hams, was parodied and memed all over YouTube.
It's smoked. My roast is ruined. I were to purchase fast food. Fast food.
Just a fun, humorous episode that gives countless Simpsons characters a time to shine.
Seymour!
Number 4. Who Shot Mr. Burns? Truly a genius episode in its structure. Split into 2 parts, the episode details Mr. Burns pissing off everyone in Springfield in different ways, before fucking off the entire town by blocking out the sun. What makes it great is how the effect of Mr. Burns stealing oil from Springfield Elementary affects not just the teachers and students, but also other people around Springfield, including Grandpa losing his room at the retirement castle, Moe losing his bar, and Barney losing Moe's bar, and Santa's little helper becoming injured. We also get a brilliant plot point in which Burns fails to remember Homer's name, which fucks him off beyond belief. After blocking out the sun, Burns is shot by an unidentified person, and I won't spoil who that is for the 2 people who don't know, but everyone in town becomes a suspect, and the possibilities are explored in the next episode. Truly a brilliant, funny episode that builds up to an amazing mystery.
Yeah, I'll give it a shot. I mean, it's my job, right?
Number 3. Last Exit to Springfield. Often considered the best episode of the series, and in my opinion it definitely comes close, delivering numerous memorable jokes, fantastic references, and a funny and touching ending. We have Mr. Burns acting very Grinch-like surrounding his workers protesting for their dental plan, and facing the brilliant Union President Homer Simpson, along with Lisa having to deal with ugly braces with a brilliant Batman reference. What this leads to is not only a great song, but a funny, touching climax. A brilliant episode with brilliant writing, brilliant humour, brilliant references, brilliant everything.
But we have the power.
Number 2. Bart gets an F. Not a particularly funny episode, more a serious one, but nonetheless manages to blend humour and emotion brilliantly. Bart discovers that he is failing class and is given one more chance to improve his grades, otherwise he'll have to repeat the 4th grade, which funnily enough all the students have done, given that even 30 years later they're still in the 4th grade. Bart ultimately decides to step up his game, trying harder to revise, even praying for God for things to work out. With the blizzard taking place, Lisa advises Bart to stay home and revise, while everyone else has fun, ultimately being confined to the darkness of a basement, while everyone else is outside in the brightness of the town. However, despite his best efforts, he fails by 1 mark, and what we get is one of the saddest and most relatable moments in the show. Bart practically breaking down as, despite his best efforts, he failed, saying that you can do your best and still not necessarily succeed, which is ultimately a hard but important lesson. Though of course it does have a happier outcome, and Bart manages to succeed, saying,
A part of this D- belongs to God.
a fantastic episode that blends humour and heart brilliantly, and deserves to be the highest rated episode in the show. And my number 1 favourite Simpsons episode is Cape Fear. Though in the past my mind has continually changed on what my favourite Simpsons episode is, I've ultimately decided on this episode. One of the most comedically dark episodes of any television show, Cape Fear brings us Sideshow Bob at his very best, and detailing his evil plan to kill Bart for foiling his evil schemes twice. The episode is constantly hilarious, with jokes such as,
Doesn't it say die, Bart, die?
No, that's German for the Bart. The.
No one who speaks German could be an evil man.
Hey, kids, want to drive through that cactus patch?
Yeah! Yeah!
No.
Whoop, 2 against 1. Bart, do you want to see my new chainsaw and hockey mask? Oh, sorry. What am I thinking?
and of course, Kelsey Grammer returned as Sideshow Bob and gives such a hilariously sadistic performance as the character. He also showcases an amazing singing voice in the film's brilliant climax. A constantly thrilling, hilarious episode, and my pick for the best Simpsons episode of all time. The Simpsons has had a huge impact on television, in particular bringing life to